Namaskar and welcome to Daily Global Insights, episode 266. A shout out to our viewers to like this program so it can reach its maximum potential. Today is Tuesday, October the 26th, and we begin with news from the United States. Sridharji, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel, sir. You and I have been hosting this. Today is the 266th attempt at getting the news right. From my side, you don't make any mistakes, sir. I am the one making mistakes and constantly striving to improve. How are you doing today, sir?
Good morning. I think you are trying to be very humble. And good morning to everybody, or good evening to everybody wherever you are. We're looking forward to another exciting day. 266 programs. I think we've come a fairly long way in terms of sharing our perspectives and sharing our thoughts around what's happening around the world.
And Democrats trim Biden's social spending plan in a race to strike deal this week. Manchin consents to hike billionaire taxes to fund the deal. Sridharji, your thoughts on where this is going to end? I think we think that it's going to be around 1.8 trillion or somewhere in that ballpark. What is really Manchin's concern? Is it that many jobs will be lost in fossil fuel sector? Is this why he's holding out?
I think that there are three, drivers for his concerns, while balancing also the needs of election, his constituency, and so on. I think, at first and foremost, is he's not able to add the numbers, which shows that these numbers need to be done right now. When you could do it in a phased manner, taking a big bite of 3.5 trillion and giving an open extended reach. I think that's number one. I think second, is genuinely concerned about taxing the businesses and some tax hikes in the personal category as well, but more specifically businesses. I think the third challenge that he's got is, this expansion and constriction in expansion of the scope of the cuts of the usage of the fossil fuels, especially as it relates to, energy generation, which drives homes in the United States. So I think those are the three principal areas. And then he's asking why we need to spend so much of money so soon when we have 2022 and 2024 and so on and so forth. So three primary reasons is what has, put some brakes on this train wreck that is fast running away.
And economists expect shipping problems to linger well into 2022 as the post-pandemic effects and vaccine mandates take their toll. Businesses ask Biden to delay vaccine mandates until after the holidays. Thousands of marchers take to streets. Sridharji, this is something that is ongoing. Now we have sort of hit a wall. The number of vaccinated in the US is stubbornly refusing to go up. What options does Biden have?
None until such. Delay the mandates, leave the choice to people and business. If there is a sporadic growth, unmitigated growth, beyond what is already in place, then look at types of measures that need to be introduced. People want to get back to jobs. People want to resume their lives, but people also want to have choice. Especially when you have 60%, close to 60%, 56% of the people vaccinated, people are saying, give us the choice so we move forward. You're asking for the choice in every facet. So you have big marches in United States, in New York more specifically. Then you have in Florida, and then you have businesses now coming forward and saying, we're going to screw the entire shopping season, and until there's next shopping season, there's not going to be a big economic activity. So please delay all this till the shopping season is over.
And worse than it has ever been, curbs on border wall has unleashed fear in the border areas, prompting Forest Service to stop its officers from going there. Another caravan with immigrants from Haiti, Central America, South America is heading towards United States and is clashing with forces in southern Mexico. So I think this is about 500,000 strong is what I heard. Sridharji, that is mind-boggling.
Open borders, open sesame. Everybody is allowed, doesn't matter who you are, what you are. They're all coming with placards and boards which used to say open sesame, we need to come in. And they are being fueled by the progressive mob. And, Bernie Sanders has always been, let's not, cut him out. He is the leader of this mafia, which is to say open borders. Why he doesn't say open airports? Anybody can come. When you can come through borders, not being a citizen, anybody can come with a passport. And, if somebody asks, then you make a note of it. Otherwise, you can come. Anybody can come. It just is astonishing that what is going on in United States, especially around the borders. The point that is around the Arizona state, the forest reserve people not being sent, it's a security threat. So if you don't have people to protect the forests as well as go into the reserves and, take care of any people intruding and doing activities which are illegal, there is nobody there. So this is what Mr. Biden and his progressives have unleashed on United States.
And US to require contact tracing, vaccination proof when foreign travel curbs are lifted. And GOP and Trump critic-eyed to oversee election security at Department of Homeland Security. State of Washington Secretary of State Kim Wyman is expected to oversee the role. Democrats sue Virginia Postal Service for delays in delivery of postal ballots. Viewers, you know that next week, that is I believe the first Tuesday of November, there is an election in Virginia for its governor. It's a very, very tight, close election, and we'll see what are the near-term effects of the Biden presidency there. Sridharji, who do you think is going to win?
I think right now Glenn Youngkin holds the lead, but having learned the lessons of 2020 with no reforms, nothing surprises, because you can see that already the postal ballots are at play. Yesterday we talked about the advocacy group stalling the postal ballots because there were a lot of invalid and illegal ballots. Today we have a situation where the Democrats are flipping the coin and basically suing the postal department and saying you are not delivering on time for people to vote in absentia.
A bit of context here. The current sitting governor is a Democrat, and Youngkin, that Sridharji mentioned, is a Republican. And the Democratic candidate this time is a former governor, Terry McAuliffe, the well-known name in Democratic circles, especially in the DNC. And someone as popular and as famous as Barack Obama came and campaigned for him over the last weekend. So it remains to be seen what kind of aura that Obama has still left, because many, such as PGurus, have pointed fingers at Obama for some of these open border policies and power without responsibility, using someone in the White House to try and navigate his agenda, his unfinished agenda, making United States get closer to socialism. All these are my observations, and Sridharji might agree or not agree with me. Sridharji, you want anything to add to that?
No, I think that we have covered, and I have shared my perspectives, which is namely that the architect of the present situation in the House and Senate was the outcome of the elections in Georgia. Georgia was 1-1, going Republican and Democrat. Then, when the re-election was done because of a runoff, you found Obama openly coming and, canvassing to say that this is the decisive moment when people have to turn up and vote. So our agenda, this is the time our agenda can be accomplished. People have to, what is his agenda? Well, we are saying what his agenda is and what it has unfolded to be.
Glorious karma as Braves bring World Series to Atlanta after MLB pulled All-Star game. You remember this in Georgia. Atlanta is the capital of Georgia, the state of Georgia, and all the different things that happened when the governor of Georgia signed some papers. Coca-Cola pulled out and a few other companies. So all these things now have come full circle, and now we have the Atlanta Braves, the Major League Baseball team, going to bring the World Series back to Atlanta. It is It is karma after all. Sridharji, business trumped everything else, I guess.
No, I think I would like to see Stacey Abrams marching in the streets of downtown Atlanta and saying the game should be called off and sent back because of wokeism. And I would like the wokes of who run MLB out of New York to be saying we are now going to move the games out to the maybe to bring it to New York to either not to the Yankee Stadium because we are considered non-woke. Probably to the Shea Stadium, which is or the Citibank Stadium in Long Island, where the Mets play. So maybe that's what the MLB, which runs out of New York, should do, because they did it for the World Series, or not for the World Series, for the big playoff between the two conferences. And here we are, the World Series being played and no action.
And let's take a look at India news now. Indian Army commanders review border security along LAC with China. Pakistan Prime Minister calls for working with India to take cricket forward in his press meet in Saudi Arabia. You will laugh if I tell you why the Prime Minister of Pakistan is in Saudi Arabia right now. Sir, your turn, sir. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that it is just another absolute rubbish and nonsense that is going on. Cricket doesn't decide the lives. The terrorists who are coming from either side of the border decide creating nuisance and nonsense. And these continuous issues around Kashmir is creating the problem. Pakistan is bankrupt. It doesn't have the money. And it wants to talk about cricket rather than focusing on reducing terrorism, bringing more trade and business, and colluding with people who don't have any emotional or human values. So it just is a complete cricket is not the beginning and the end of the life, but somehow Pakistan thinks that's what makes the difference as far as India-Pakistan relationship goes.
And Covaxin news, WHO to meet on October 26th to grant emergency approval to Covaxin. India awaits a decision that will provide a huge boost. Sridharji, we have been talking about how established pharma companies were trying to deny entry to an upstart, especially from India, knowing the amount of bucks involved in vaccination, which is going to be a new normal. This is a very good moment for Bharat Biotech, sir. I wish you and I had some stock there.
I think that first and foremost, I think if they will get a clearance because of on-ground realities prove that they probably put more vaccines than anybody else in the world on that Covaxin. And India has responded well, so they probably will get emergency. I think India they're more keen on making sure that the Indian markets is well served. They're also more keen that many people who are vaccinated get through the vaccination mandate entry test when they go and travel Europe, United States, and so on. I think that's the critical thing here more than anything else. So if 30% or 40% of the Indian population is vaccinated with Covaxin, and quite a number of them are travelers, you would want to see that vaccine in the list as one that is approved.
And engineering exports crossed 9 billion in September, and exports to 22 out of 25 countries have shown positive numbers. This is for India. 1 out of 5 projects experienced delays in the infrastructure sector, and the government urges acceleration or face penalties. Sridharji, of all the members of the Modi cabinet, Nitin Gadkari ji has proven himself to be one of the much more efficient persons. He has executed at a frenetic pace. That's the only word I can use to describe the amount of work that he has done. And this is a good thing that, usually when India is trying to lay down roads, it is the land acquisition that is concerned with that. That is one of the biggest blocks, and I don't know how Gadkari ji has managed to circumvent that, because he has been on a tear. That's the only way I can put it, and this is a good thing for the country and the economy as a whole, isn't it?
It is. I think the infrastructure has been given the number one priority besides alternate energy, besides the pharma, besides some of the segments of the electronics and so on. So you find that the infrastructure projects are, are, as you rightly said, are the big momentum. But 1 in 5 projects delayed. I'm told some number which is anything between 5 and greater than 5 years. Now that is uncalled for, and that needs to be addressed and fixed. If you're talking about, let's say if you say that 0.5 or less than 10% of the projects getting delayed is fine, but this is a big number, and I hope that they will fast address it or put significant amount of penalties to deter this.
And the restaurant sector reaches 80% levels prior to pandemic, demonstrating a recovering economy. Sridharji, India's economy appears to be on the mend. I mean, I just visited and then came back, and I'm sure you are observing the same thing since you are now in India. This is all good. I think India seems to have conquered the beast. And of course, there should be eternal vigil to make sure that no new strains come across. Overall, things look good, don't they?
Overall, things look positive. They have done a good substitution. Whenever the domestic demand has dipped, they have been able to successfully still sustain the manufacturing and drive the export sector. Whatever has been produced, if it's not consumed domestically, they targeted it towards the exports. And they built new markets, as well as they brought a capital structure which allows manufacturers to draw and derive benefits through both internal and external consumption. So I think India, as you rightly said, is on the mend. There's a general positive disposition, and the fact that both for the current as well as the next financial year, the targets look very good is an indication that things are turning around.
On to global news now. China launches suspected anti-satellite weapon into space. Australia will support United States response if China attacks Taiwan. Model soldiers and secret bunkers in Taiwan in its front line with China. Chinese surveillance planes enter Taiwan's ADIZ. Sridharji, the saber rattling continues. However, many experts feel that China will not actually invade Taiwan. What is your gut feeling about this, sir?
Anything that people say will not happen, as far as Xi Jinping is concerned, that's exactly what will happen. So to me, the fact that he is coming into ADIZ, they will try and do some kind of, even if it means a covert action, they will attempt some form of covert action. They have done that in India. Why would they not do it in Taiwan? What is it preventing from doing it? Taiwan is a much smaller army, much smaller territory. There's still culturally a significant alignment. Why would they not, make an attempt as they have done in India and some other parts of the world?
And Russia, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, they've done it in Nepal, they've done it in Bhutan, and why wouldn't they do it in Taiwan, or why wouldn't they do it in Japan?
Right. That's true. And now Russia cautions Taliban and says that Central Asia is on edge, and it appears to be warming up to Taliban, which was once a sworn enemy. In fact, it is believed that the force that drove Russia out of Afghanistan evolved into Taliban. Sridharji, this is after the summit that took place in Russia, where Taliban actually came and met with many countries, including India. Do you think Russia is now becoming more accommodative of Taliban and may not recognize, but start doing business with them?
Well, there are 3 specific incidents that I would like to point out. First, as we do more work and find data coming out, apparently I'm told around August 15, 16, 17, when the Taliban had come in, one of the things that happened is a bunch of commanders surrounded Russian embassy in Kabul. And they effectively told the Russian diplomat that there will be no harm done to any Russians inside the Russian embassy, and they will be taken care and protected. which prompted the Russian diplomat to say that, look, these Taliban people are reasonable and they're protecting, and so therefore we need to kind of work with. Then you had Russia maintaining its position in Kabul when many other diplomatic missions quit. Then you have had the follow-up meetings within both in Central Asian republics as well as in Russia, which you pointed out. All this means is someone is playing or has played a very calibrated plan in terms of how to make Taliban effective and powerful, and at the same time try to make them mainstream without giving away whatever their eventual intent is. Clearly, we were wondering right through India, where is this? Who is the invisible play here? It's very clear. It's not Qatar. Qatar just provided a platform. It seems like there is some kind of connection between Russia, Taliban, China, and Pakistan, and that seems to be the fulcrum. Turkey doesn't seem to be part of that loop. That's the fulcrum which seems to be running this whole agenda, which is anti-US. This couldn't have happened again without the some support from inside United States, but this is where we stand as far as Taliban is concerned. They have come out as formidable, but with clear allies in the big nations around the world.
Erdogan lets envoys to stay after embassies affirm non-interference. We had reported yesterday that 11 envoys were recalled. Now, looks like they're going to stay now. Sudanese troops arrested their prime minister and other leaders. That is likely to unleash more chaos, instability, and terrorism in the Horn of Africa. We talked yesterday about this coup, so we will wait and see how things evolve. The United States suspends 700 million aid and calls for immediate normalcy. President Macron calls for immediate release of Sudanese prime minister. So these are two countries now that are exhorting the coup people, the coup junta, to release the Sudanese prime minister. Isn't it, Sridharji?
It is. Again, this is the confluence of the terrorism plus rebels, which seems to be rearing its ugly head. Everywhere there is an opportunity for some spring in democracy. You remember that the deputy secretary of state or deputy administrator within the State Department who oversees South Sudan and Sudan made a visit. There was this aid and restoration back to democracy, less than a month ago, which we covered in Daily Global Insights. And now we find that we are back to democracy is out of the window, and basically martial law is back in place.
As Russian deaths rise from COVID, Eastern Europe imposes new restrictions. This is something that is expected. I don't think Eastern Europe has a lot of people vaccinated. So there is another opportunity for India to gain their goodwill and their business. So we will wait and see. Sridharji, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think this Delta variant plus is now making its headway into right from UK down through mainland Europe. Russia seems to be one of the biggest areas of exposure, and proximity of Russia to Eastern Europe means that the Eastern Europeans are trying to shut down the border so that it doesn't make its way into Eastern Europe. So clearly there is a problem in Europe. Asia seems to have stemmed the tide. India has stemmed the tide. United States at least is stalling, notwithstanding the fact very high incidence of active cases. But Europe is still the focus point.
And in markets, Tesla becomes another firm to reach the 1 trillion market cap with a deal with Hertz, a famous, a popular car rental service. Together, they are planning to, Hertz is probably planning to use Tesla cars and maybe with their software to try and give a better rental car experience. Indonesia is likely to become a source of nickel supply, and stock futures are flat after S&P notches yet another record. Sridharji, your thoughts, and then we can call it a wrap.
My thoughts are that remarkable in terms of where Tesla has come from. 100,000 electronic vehicles, which Hertz has ordered, has given some impetus that to say that Tesla is now mainstream as far as EVs are concerned. That propelled the stock. And then, well, we have another company which has gone past the 1 trillion mark by way of market cap and market valuation. Indonesia, we talked about the Foxconn moving in. It's a very good sign that Indonesia has these rare earths, and naturally, as a result, there is a growing interest. I think we also covered yesterday the whole viability of EVs, which we will park for the moment. We discussed it yesterday. The markets are up on the back of the earnings. Again, many companies in S&P which have reported earnings have reported very positive earnings. So that was reflected in the markets going up. But having said that, inflation is rearing its head, and the 10-year Treasury bonds is 1.6, 1.65%, and futures is around 1.7. So clearly we are inching towards that number. The gas oil prices are around between 84 and 86 between Brent and between crude and WTI, which is again, around that $90 to $100 mark. I don't expect it to reach 100, but it's hovering there. All indications of increase in prices.
And with that, today's episode comes to a close. We'll be back again tomorrow. Stay tuned. Do support us by liking our program, subscribing to our channel, and consider joining our membership program. Sridharji, namaskar, and we will see you tomorrow.
Namaskar. Have a good evening or have a good morning wherever you are. And thank you very much for your support, and thank you very much for your continued support.